morning. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, August the 7th, and we are in the swing of the school year, which even though it's still hot and muggy outside, it makes me feel like fall is coming. And I want to talk today, and welcome to the call today, Jessica, the fabulous Jessica Renard. We're going to talk about why date night isn't working to fix your sex life. So I'm excited about this because I know how hard it is sometimes to get couples to go on a date and have sex. And so sometimes I'm like, forego the date, just have sex. Because sometimes it does put an obstacle in the way. And so there's various reasons for that, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. Good morning, Jessica. How you doing? And then what do you think about the topic?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I think I just worked with a couple yesterday that date nights, they just sit there and kind of look at each other. And I'm like, the thing is a date is not just about the activity of going to dinner or going to a movie. It's the connection. It's the wanting to spend time with that person, wanting to be curious about that person's experience and having an experience with that person. And I think that's where we lose of if I do these actions, it'll work. And I mean, there is some research behind that, in that if we smile, our brain thinks about the times that we were happy. And so there is a fake it till you make it type aspect. But that takes a while. If you go out on dates as a form of muscle memory, it's going to be harder to try and get back into that rhythm.
Yeah. So I think what I want to talk about most is really thinking through the purpose of the date and how sex works for you as a couple, literally logistics. And so if you are a couple of a certain age, your date does not need to be going to the Braves game where you have to walk 2 miles to get to the stadium and then be active and aware and then get back home at midnight and think that you're going to have sex. That's not going to happen. So terrible. I want, because I was just talking to somebody the other day and they were just like, that was a long walk to the Braves game. That was a long walk. And it was and then when you get into the Battery, you still have to walk. And then you got to get inside the stadium. It's a long walk. And so no sex is happening after you've hiked 4 miles around Atlanta. And so being very practically aware of the physical logistics of it. And then also what Jessica just got finished saying is the emotional, I want to say the emotional logistics of it. But and really thinking about, okay, the purpose, I as a therapist am assigning you to go on the date night before you have sex is so that you guys emotionally connect. That is the purpose. And so if you guys are out there trying it on your own, think about what will have us emotionally connect. Because for a good amount of people in the world, emotional connection precedes sexual activity or physical activity. So we need to have that emotional connection there. So really think not just date night, but what will emotionally connect us so that we have good feelings about each other and will want to touch each other. That is the goal here. If you are a couple, I have a couple of my couples where they have just decided that they are of a certain age, and one of my partners I'm not paying $20 for a salad. If we're going out to eat, I'm eating real food that I can't cook at home, and so he was like, I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. If we go out to eat, I'm eating. And so for them, sex has to come before they go out to dinner. And so dinner is almost the reward for having a wonderful inside sexual experience. And some other things are done throughout the day to create that emotional closeness so that sex can happen. And then dinner is their reward. And so I feel like sometimes people get locked into this is the way it's done. Almost we have to go to dinner, and dinner has to be dinner and a movie, and then we have to come home, and then we turn off the lights, and then we get into bed, and then sex is supposed to happen. And that's not reality. For people of a certain age, nothing is happening after 9:00.
Unless you have lots of naps. Like if you have lots of naps, then you're good.
Hey, but this is random, but my baby sister just made it to the point where she needs a going out nap.
Oh, yeah.
36,
Welcome.
so we're just like, oh, you're really grown now. When you're like, oh, I got to go out tonight. Y'all want me to be like awake and aware after 8 p.m.? Yeah, I'm going to need a nap for that. And so we're like, she's grown. And so we're like, you're grown now. That's real adulthood. That's a whole different level of time management. So, but back to the topic of what are the reasons date night isn't working, because you're just saying date night because that's what you think needs to happen. You are not really thinking, what do we as a couple need to do to emotionally connect so that we can physically connect, if that needs to be done first. So I really want you guys to be contemplative about that. Also, what type of date is going to serve you well? If you are a couple and going out to a restaurant, y'all are just going to stare at each other right now, then don't go out to a restaurant. Do a pottery taking class, sipping and wine class, like something where the creative juices, the freedom juices, like we can relax a little bit into it, like something like that, an active activity. Especially my couples that are a little bit more high conflict. You don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to fight. Like, please don't. Like, let's have some type of common sense, just common sense that this doesn't work for us, and be okay that every couple is different and that you have to find out what works for you. Okay, Jessica, what else is coming up for you?
I think to a certain extent, we also have this idea that dates need to be expensive. It needs to be out of the house.
Yeah.
It like you can have a date in your house with the things. It's about changing the environment. It's about how it makes you feel. And so like if you take a mattress out and put it in the living room and have a bunch of candles and like have a movie night, there's a date. It doesn't cost you anything other than time and labor.
Right.
And so I think there are a lot of things that can be set up for a specific purpose to evoke a particular feeling, because the feeling part, that's the part that gets sex. Like if we don't have feeling, we're just mechanical robots going through the action and it's not connecting. Our brain is our most powerful sex organ. And if it's not on, nobody's having any fun.
Right. So it would also be nice if there were some pre-date activities and between date activities, that there's it's really that old, what's the old saying? They were like, you need to like keep the fire burning, like keep stroking the coals and the fire along the way, so that when it's time to throw some more logs on there and get it up, ripping and running, we're not starting from scratch. We're not starting from the coal. And so that could also be a reason why date night isn't working for you, because you're expecting, we haven't done anything or touched each other for a month, and now we're going to go on this fabulous date, do amazing things, and come back and have amazing sex. It doesn't work like that for most people. And so even with my couples that are away from each other, we talk about phone sex in the middle. So as a way to keep us erotically, energetically connected a little bit. My couples that are together, but like ships passing in the night, are too tired, because that's a very real thing. I'm working third shift, you're working first shift. Like we may have an hour together. So we talk about we said it before. I've had to write an article on it. I don't think I ever did. Like micro dosing, like affection or intimacy, and getting those little small moments there. So whether it's a 17-second hug, a 16-minute kiss, whatever that looks like for you guys, so that when we have, I'm using goodwill a lot lately, but we have not only goodwill, but the erotic energy that's holding on, like keeping the fire burning so that that spark is keeping it going in the between times. So, and I know right now that for a lot of couples, for whatever reason, I have a lot of couples that are, and I don't know if this is just a state of the world or it's a state of my life, and therefore it's being reflected in the practice, where one partner is working in another state. And so there's a lot of, first it was, I think, the movie industry in Atlanta, because a lot of partners were in California and then back. And like, first, everybody had a partner in California. It was the craziest thing. And it seems like it's no longer California, it's just everything. And so you have to be intentional about what we're going to do in the between times, in the meantime, so that when we come back together, we can have a wonderful sexual experience. It doesn't happen on automatic, people. It doesn't. And I think when you have a life that is varied and busy, and you guys can be ships passing in the night, you have to sit down and be intentional about, like, you literally have to say out loud, how are we going to keep our erotic energy alive when, I don't know, when we're looking at the calendar, I may not see you for the next 2 months, like the whole summer, because if, I'm on vacation with the kids, when you come back home from work, and it could go like that, and it is going like that for some families. You have to be intentional and being open to what that is. And so phone sex, sexting, video sex, a great conversation. Like, I'm saying more erotic things, but it actually doesn't have to be more erotic things. A good I miss you conversation will do it for a lot of people. So, okay, Jessica, what else was coming up for you?
Yeah, I use a lot of content creators in my sessions, because I think the way that they craft certain messages is just succinct and amazing. And so we watched one from Jimmy on relationships last night, where one person was compared to a microwave and one person was compared to an oven in terms of intimacy, in that an oven needs to preheat. We need steps to get an oven ready. And I think to a certain extent, everyone becomes an oven. Like, you may start out as a microwave and like you're ready to go, very little prep, and then you develop into a microwave, or you develop into an oven, because like it takes more prep. We need more context. We need more. I want to feel like you like me. I want to feel like you're not pissed at me. I like, maybe it takes longer to get erections. Maybe it takes longer to get aroused. Maybe we need more prep with toys or lube, or getting things, the environment settled. And I think that is what is kind of forgotten in a lot of that is the context. And I think it's so funny, because when we start dating at the very beginning of the relationship, how much effort is gone into dates, and how much time you spend, and that intentionality, getting ready and showering and hygiene and getting everything ready. And then we think that we could just skip to the date when we're 10 years into a relationship and it's going to feel the same. If you didn't have the intentionality, this isn't the end result that's going to suddenly make that appear.
Right. That is, because I think in culture, in general, we want to think that women are the oven and men are the microwave. And you're absolutely right. A good amount of people do turn into ovens. No matter where they started at before, they turn into ovens. Also, to pivot just a little bit, one of the reasons also date night isn't working, because it's too much pressure on date night working, period. It's just too much pressure. And so I want you guys to talk about, how do we make this less pressure? If the only thought is, are we going to have sex? 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 That's not fun. That's not free. That's not playful. That is too much pressure on date night. And so that's going to keep it from working. So identifying what you need before and after, identifying, really having a conversation of, is this too much pressure on one night? How do we decrease the pressure? How do we make it more fun and enjoyable? That would be a great question. Just how do we make time together fun and enjoyable? Do we have to go out? Is it better for us to stay in? And what does that look like in a really working together to talk about what we both need to be in a sexual space with each other and how to get there? That was good, Jessica.
It's so funny because like the way that you talk about that, it's expectation setting. So in the same way, before we go on a vacation, what makes this vacation successful to you? What are you wanting out of this vacation more than anything else?
Yeah.
We have to do that for literally everything. Like for dates, what would make this date successful? What would make you feel connected at the end of this date? What are you wanting to happen at the end of this date? So that we know where expectations are. Because I think dates still include so much of that, like nonverbal, spontaneous, well, they should know I want them to hold my hand. They should know that I want them to open the door. They should know I want flowers. I'm like, if you've never said that out loud, how are they going to know?
Mm-hmm. I would love, we could just say that to everybody in every relationship. If you have not said it out loud, you cannot have the expectation that your partner is going to do it if you haven't said it out loud. And I think I want to go further than that because we know that people learn with repetition over time. Mm-hmm. So I really want to say if you haven't said it out loud 7 times, you can't expect them to have it. And that really comes from my management training career of like when you're training a new employee something until you've shown them 7 times. And I can't remember how that math works, but I remember the number 7. You can't expect them to have that new thing in which you've trained them on. And
asking for something and getting your need met does not diminish the person who is meeting your need. Like,
say more.
So often it's like, well, if I have to say it, it takes away from it. I'm like, no one's a mind reader. Like, no one will understand what you want. No one understands what the experience you're having if you are not verbally conveying it. And I can understand if you've done this 100 times and they're not getting it. Yeah, you're not feeling heard. And maybe there's a larger conversation that needs to happen. And if you haven't, how are they going to know? Like,
they're not going to know. They're not going to know, you guys. They're not going to know. I grew up with a saying, common sense ain't common.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. like it's just true because it's common to you because of your history and your experiences, which your partner did not have your history and your experiences. Mm-hmm. And so we got to make room for that in the relationship, that they're coming with a different lens, a different perspective, a different history, a different perspective. And so therefore, grace would be ideal and fabulous for these conversations. And the other thing when I'm talking to my couples about that same dynamic, Jessica, is if you ask somebody for something and they do it for you, I need you to see that as absolutely love and them being tried. So, because I shouldn't have to ask, but you do. Like, it's a thing. People aren't remind me of this. But if you do and they do it, like I don't know if it gets any better than that. Mm-hmm. You know, to people who are willing to grow and change for each other upon request. I don't know.
Well, and I think there's also something that needs to be given of like, and I had this conversation like with my kid the other night of like, she wanted 20 more minutes watching television. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then she's like, well, we just don't have to do it. We just don't have to do it then. And I'm like, I'm saying yes because I want to be able to do this with you. If I really didn't want to, I would say no. And then it feels like it takes away from that yes of wanting to do that, of immediately like, well, if you're not happy and excited to do this, I'm like, I am tired. I want to acknowledge where I am. And I'm still saying yes, that I want to spend this time with you. And that is also important.
That's a whole nother conversation that I'd love for us to have one day. Because those people that like jump and do black, like it's like black or white. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a whole dynamic that I know shows up in a lot of couples and working with that and how we work with that. So yeah. Okay. Closing thoughts for today.
Dates are not a magic wand. They don't immediately solve all of your problems.
Yeah.
And if you're using dates to figure out logistics, you're not connecting. If you are not doing new things then you get into a rut, you get into a habit. So I think being adventurous and maybe once a month or once a quarter, doing a date that you've never done before or an experience that one of you have never experienced. What is it like? Even if you go to the ballet and both of you hate it, maybe you have a fabulous time roasting it afterwards.
Right.
Like, and you're just like, oh my God. And then it feels like you've escaped something together, or you've gone through this thing that you're like, oh my God, this is really terrible. I can't believe we spent money on this. Yeah. And then that's a laughing story. That's a way to connect.
Okay. So pulling off of what you just said, my final thoughts are, dates are not a cure-all. Know what the purpose of them, of dates are. Mm-hmm. Plan accordingly for the purpose of the date, and then plan accordingly if sex is the purpose of the date. Mm-hmm. Plan accordingly. Be intentional. This is not something that you just throw against the wall and let's hope it works. It's something that if you put time and attention and intention into, it will definitely work, you know?
Yeah.
However that
partners aren't spaghetti.
Yeah, definitely so. Okay, that's it. Anything else you want to share with people before we go?
I think there's just like an underlying curiosity and joy, like wanting to revel in your partner, wanting to, like, if you've picked this person to be with for the rest of your life, are you not curious about them? Are you not, like, what's changed? Like, is this still true? Do you still like this flavor of jelly bean? Do you still like green olives over black olives? Like the minutia, the little things that we forget make up a life that you've spent together. And I think being able to see that joy and being able to revel in that and have that curiosity is the biggest part.
It is, because you guys, this is what the research tells us, and probably common sense too, but this is what the research tells us. It's not in the big conversations that the relationship is made. It's in the little conversations that the relationship is made. It's in me complaining about that coworker and you're like, oh yeah, Jess. Like that's the, like, oh yeah, you know him. It's those little conversations that the relationship is made. And so just remember that, because I think sometimes people want to do big grand things to fix it. And that's the little things in the everyday of knowing each other and knowing each other's lives. And so fill your date with that, knowing each other and knowing each other. And then hopefully you can know each other. Okay. All right. Have a great Infront of Your Stay. Bye.
Bye.